We're live, Mr. Allison.
We're live. Okay. I'm calling to order the Tuesday, August 11th meeting of Williamsport City Council. It's 6:30 p.m. roughly. We're meeting remotely via Zoom, and we have a special meeting agenda tonight. Let's get right to it. Item 1 is a resolution authorizing the execution of a contract agreement between the City of Williamsport and the Amalgamated Transit Union Local 1496. Given that this is a reconsideration of a motion we already voted on and it was voted down, we need a motion to reconsider, and it has to be a member of the former prevailing voting group. So is anybody going to make that motion?
Hey, President Allison, I'd like to make a motion to reconsider the labor agreement between the City of Williamsport and ATU Local 1496.
Thank you, Councilman Mackey. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a second. Motion and a second. I'll defer to Mr. Winder.
Good evening, members of council. Before you is a resolution for the contract between the City of Williamsport and the ATU. There was 2 changes in the contract language. One, we added some language on page 15, retiree hospitalization for employees employed prior to the execution of this contract only. And the second change, we added number 10 on page 22. All employees hired after the execution of this contract will follow the residency ordinance number 6384. Please see attachment C. Attachment C is the residency ordinance itself.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Winder. Given that we are voting on a reconsideration, we're going to have to amend the change, make amendments to change the contract. We're not voting on a whole new contract.
Mr. Allison, if I may, Mr. Lubin just said, just to make sure everybody's aware that this was agreeable by the union also.
Okay, thank you. So shall we handle the first one on Article 33, page 15, retiree. Originally it was retiree hospitalization. Is there a motion to amend that to the new contract language?
So move.
Second.
Okay, there's a motion and a second to amend. You have the language before you of the amended part of that resolution, or part of that hospitalization segment. And it now says retiree hospitalization for employees employed prior to the execution of this contract only. Is there discussion? Is there discussion from council on that particular change? Any questions? I guess I only have one, Mr. Winder. And not being familiar with the intricacies of contract language, was this reviewed by a solicitor or anybody to?
It was forwarded on to Jill Nagy.
Okay. And so she's approved that this covers the intent of the change. This language will cover the intent of the change, which was new hirees are not covered under this segment.
Correct.
Okay. Is everyone clear with that? I don't hear any questions. Okay. Any other comments, discussion? Hearing none, Mrs. Frank, can we vote on the First Amendment?
Mr. Mackey,
Yes.
Mr. Yoder,
Yes.
Mr. Pelisi,
Yes.
Mrs. Katz,
yes,
Mr. Banks,
Yes.
Ms. Mealy,
Yes.
Mr. Allison.
Yes. Motion to amend that segment passes 7-0. Thank you, Mrs. Frank. Let's turn then to page 22. And it's under Article 41, which is the title of that article is miscellaneous. And it refers to the residency requirement. This is an addition that we didn't have prior. Could I make one note here, Mr. Winder?
Sure.
I notice, maybe I'm reading this wrong, but I believe it's listed in the amended contract that we have as number 10. And I believe it should be number 9.
Yes, I see now that number 8 is totally missing.
Number 8 is there, but number 8 is listed as 9.
Yeah, I mean, the
Those
number
are-
itself is missing, so it's
Yeah.
got a sequence there somehow.
So, Mr. Lubin, do we have to change those numbers, or?
I think that when the final draft is done, it would just, because this is the entire agreement, we can just renumber things.
So we don't have to change the number?
No,
Okay. Just so there's no confusion going forward. So this adds a residency requirement for new hires only. Is there a motion to approve this amendment?
So moved.
There's a motion. There's someone second at the same time?
That was me, second.
Okay. There's a motion and a second. Are there any discussions from council tonight? Hearing none, Mrs. Frank, can we have the vote on the addition of the residency requirement for new hires?
Mr. Yoder,
Yes.
Mr. Mackey,
Yes.
Mr. Pelisi,
Yes.
Mrs. Katz,
yes,
Mr. Banks,
Yes.
Ms. Mealy,
Yes.
Mr. Allison.
Yes. Motion to amend passes 7-0. Thank you, Mrs. Frank. There are no more changes or additions. So essentially, we have the full contract before us with the changes that we made tonight. So we will reconsider now this amended contract. And we already have a motion and a second on the floor. Or do we have to motion again?
No.
On the change?
No.
Okay. Are there any further comments or questions from council tonight? Mr. Mackey?
Yeah, thank you, President Allison. Yeah, I just thought it was important. I want to be clear on something that, everyone that works for the city has my support. I think finding the balance between showing that support and trying to represent the best interests of the residents of the city is a delicate one, and one I'm still learning how to navigate. Frank, I know that you're sitting there. I just want everybody at RVT to know that I appreciate everything that you do for our city. You provide a vital service, and I do believe that this is a good contract for both sides. But I would be remiss if I didn't also say that I stand by my my firm belief that the city of Williamsport needs to get out of the lifetime benefits business. And I believe that with this contract is the first good step. And I understand that it's going to be a long journey, more of a marathon than a sprint. But I think this is a good start. So I just thought it was important that I say that. And also, if there's anyone out there that's watching this meeting or will watch it later, if you want to talk to me about my change from a no to a yes on this contract, I would be more than happy to speak with you. You can contact me on my Facebook page. You can call the city and leave me a message. I'll call you back. And that goes for anybody at RBT too, as well. I should say RBT as well. I'd love to come down. I've been down and spoke with Mr. Winder. He gave me a little bit of a tour a while ago. I'd love to meet all of you at some point. So that's it. That's all I have to say.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You can come out and ride me anytime you want.
Thanks, Mr. Mackey. Other comments from council tonight? I'm not gonna, I just have one brief comment to make, and not on this contract. As much as we haven't, now that we have this out of the way, we haven't formally really recognized or thanked the members of the ATU for the service they provided this community during the beginning and the hardest part of the COVID crisis, when everything was in lockdown, and the public transportation became a vital artery for a lot of people. But at the same time, when many businesses were closed and factories were closed to protect their employees, our people were out there on the front line risking. It was a risk. It always is a risk, but at that time there were a lot of unknowns, but they did their job and they went above and beyond. And I think tonight, as we're settling another contract with our union workers, I think it's appropriate to thank them for that service, and that was so vital to our community and always continues to be for so many people. That's their way to work, that's their way to shop and do so many other things. And we have a special treasure in this in our city and region with RBT. So thank you, gentlemen, and please, on behalf of council, pass that on to all the members, because I'm sure that is the sentiment of every member of this council tonight.
Thank you very much.
Certainly.
I really appreciate that.
We'll move to item 2. And this announcements.
Mr. Allison, you have to vote yet.
Point of order, we need to vote on the contract.
Yeah,
Too many amendments, Mr. Allison.
yes. Oh, I got caught up in that. Okay, Mrs. Frank, the vote, please.
Mr. Yoder,
No,
Mr. Mack,
Yes.
Mr. Pelisi,
no,
Mrs. Katz,
no,
Mr. Banks,
yes,
Ms. Mealy,
Yes.
Mr. Allison.
Yes. Thank you, Mrs. Frank. Motion passes 4-3. Now we'll move to item 2, announcements. The next regularly scheduled city council meeting will be, is this correct, Mrs. Frank, Thursday, August 27th?
Yes, it is, because we always take a little league.
Right. Okay, then we don't have one the first week of September. I don't have my schedule with me right now.
So we skip a week. We usually take off. We usually only have one in the beginning and one at the end.
Right. I was discussing it earlier with someone, and I thought they said we had one in the first week of September, so, but I didn't double check that, so I just wanted to.
That was my fault, Randy, and I thought we did, but I
Okay.
must have misunderstood the schedule.
Okay, but we're clear and we're good. Upcoming meetings, Tuesday, August 11th, 4 p.m. at City Hall, which we had today. Well, all these are all. Then Wednesday, August 12th, 3:30 p.m. O&E pension. Friday, August 14th, 11 a.m. ERC. Are there any items for that, Ms. Mealy, that you know of?
Nothing that I've heard yet, Mr. Allison. I would encourage the administration, if there's anything that they would like to bring before the Economic Revitalization Committee this coming Friday, to please reach out to me as soon as possible so we can get that scheduled. Thank you.
12 p.m. housing needs. I believe there's an item that Mr. Narr would like to bring to that committee. So we need to, if they're able to meet this Friday, and we can just,
yeah.
Pardon me?
I believe that was the plan as far as I'm aware, although I suppose we have everyone on the call.
Okay,
Housing needs attend that meeting as well?
yes.
Okay. Excellent. Then we'll see Mr. Narr at noon.
Tuesday, August 18th, 10 a.m. blighted property, 6:30 p.m. Harb. Thursday, August 20th, 10:30 a.m. zoning hearing board, 4 p.m. Board of Health. Tuesday, August 25th, 11 a.m. historic preservation, 11:30 a.m. public safety, 1 p.m. finance meeting, 2:30 p.m. public works meeting. Wednesday, August 26th, 11:30 a.m. redevelopment authority. And that brings us to the end of the agenda tonight. Any comments from council? Comments from administration? Okay, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you, and have a good evening.
Thank you.